Pyrotechnics have been an integral part of warfare since ancient times. From Greek fire to flamethrowers and thermobaric bombs, Prometheus's gift to mankind has turned into one of the most effective weapons of war. One of the original perks included in the first killing floor, Firebug utilizes several different thermal-based weapons, ranging from the simple flamethrower to the high-tech microwave gun. These weapons lend themselves to be very effective at crowd control and preventing larger Zeds from being effective. However, it does come at the cost of limited mobility and durability against most enemy attacks. Experience is gained by dealing damage with Firebug weapons, as well as dealing damage to crawlers with perk weapons. Each level gained will passively increase damage, reload speed, and starting ammo, as well as reduce damage from enemy fire and from your own weapons, eventually making you immune from self-harm. While Firebug weapons generally have large ammo pools, they are expensive to fill, making the additional starting ammo extremely helpful. In lieu of more traditional grenades, Firebugs utilize Molotov cocktails that burst into flames on contact with surfaces or enemies. While it doesn't deal very much blast damage, especially in comparison to other grenades, its flames linger, burning any Zeds that pass through it. This makes it a very effective tool when retreating or against a line of advancing enemies. The first weapon available to the Firebug is the Caulk and Burn, a MacGyver-esque flamethrower capable of dealing with most light enemies without too much hassle, but it will become ineffective against most mid and high level enemies. On early rounds, however, it will prove effective at controlling and panicking large groups of trash Zeds, especially crawlers and stalkers, who will generally elude weapons that require more precision. Next, the Spitfire flare revolvers can be purchased either in a standalone or dual-wield configuration. These can provide some medium-range punch to the mostly close-range arsenal of the Firebug. However, the Spitfire's projectiles do have a slow travel time, so compensation for enemy movement is required. In general, these make good backups for heavier Firebug weapons, and can quickly stack burst damage on an enemy before switching to a higher tier weapon. The Dragon's Breath Trench Gun is the third option available to the Firebug, dealing quick and lethal burst damage. This weapon makes a great backup for the flamethrower, allowing you to deal with immediate threats if you get caught with an empty fuel tank. Its major drawback is its slow reload speed and inconsistent pellet spread that can lead to a lot of wasted ammo. The flamethrower offers a more traditional incendiary solution to your Zed problems. The flamethrower deals more damage and at a greater range than the Caulk and Burn. This allows for even more effective crowd control and increased effectiveness against larger enemies. While it's not an ideal weapon to be using against Fleshpounds and Skrakes, the ability to make them panic when exposed to fire can at least buy you time to escape or allow other players better suited to big game hunting to take on the threat. Finally, the microwave gun offers increased effectiveness against larger enemies at the expense of some crowd control capabilities. It also features a powerful secondary attack that expends 10 ammo but deals a quick burst of damage that can also push enemies back, giving you valuable breathing room. Timed correctly, it can be used to dodge an enemy's attack and allow you another opportunity to strike. Skill selection offers a few different flavors of play and can tailor the Firebug to fill more specific roles. As a general rule, you will find that the left side of the tree favors dealing damage, while the right side is geared towards crowd control. For my setup, I prefer to use Bring the Heat, Barbecue, Napalm, Heatwave, and Inferno. This setup allows me to quickly and reliably bring large groups of enemies to a smoldering halt, or at the very least, weaken bigger Zeds for other perks to finish off. The Firebug is a unique perk in that its top tier weapon isn't always the best option, depending on squad composition. The microwave gun, as a general rule, is best against medium and large enemies, to include husks, skrakes, and fleshpounds. The flamethrower, on the other hand, will be a better option for dealing with weaker enemies en masse, such as clots and gorefasts. The logic being, weaker enemies are more vulnerable to fire and resistant to microwave attacks, with larger Zeds having the inverse characteristics. A game with several sharpshooters or demos would be better suited to having a Firebug with a flamethrower, while a team of commandos and supports might benefit from having a microwave gun added to their arsenal. Personally, I find the Firebug benefits from having room to move and lead enemies, forcing them into choke points where napalm and barbecue can be used to great effect. Enemies will often have to be exposed to sustained fire in order to kill them. This is why having an escape plan is key, since they can still attack if they are not panicked. A final tip for playing Firebug is to make sure you aren't spoiling the accuracy of your sharpshooters and commandos by panicking enemies. If a sharpshooter can eliminate a Scrake with a single railgun shot, setting him on fire and forcing him into a burning rage does little to help. Plan out lanes of fire and, as always, call out big enemies for your demos and sharpshooters. Thank you very much for watching. Join us next time when we take a look at the Demolitionist. Until then, farewell.